Ian from Easy Genie. Today I'm going to be talking about how old maps can really help you identify the municipality where your ancestors lived and how you can use that information to further your genealogy research. If this video helps, please take a moment to like it and follow me, and let's get started. So I found this old map of Niagara and Orleans County, New York. This is from the 1860s, so right before the Civil War. So that in itself is a useful artifact. And what I like about these old county maps in some parts of the United States, as well as some municipal maps that you can look at, is they include the names of people if they were property owners on a certain plot of land. And you can see it right here. Like in Johnson's Creek, you can see the names of people, Wickleham, Thurber, Richardson, Spencer, going down this particular street. It shows the rough location of where the farm or the house was located. And if your ancestor was actually owned a farm or owned a property out in the countryside, it's a great way to actually find out where they lived. But what I'm really interested in is actually where the borders lie of these particular towns in relationship to an ancestor. And if you talk with genealogists, oftentimes you'll hear things like, I was looking for my ancestor and I couldn't find them if I was looking in the, let's say, the town of Somerset, but then I found them the next town over in Heartland. And this is a very common situation. And sometimes what happens, and I'll give you an example here. I have ancestors who grew up in this area or who emigrated to this area. And, oftentimes they'll say, oh, yeah, they're from Lockport. And you'll be looking for records in Lockport and you can't find any deeds or legal records or anything like that. And then you discover through some other source that actually they may have lived somewhere else in the county. And to give you one example of that, for one of my ancestors, it was an immigrant ancestor. They came to this part of New York. Later on, they settled in Lockport, and also they settled in the town to the north called Newfane. I wasn't able to find any of their earliest records until I saw an obituary in a newspaper which mentioned the names of the people that they worked for. And I found out actually that he worked for people across the border in Royalton, Niagara County. It was some farmers who lived in this particular area. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but they were located in Royalton. And actually, for me to dig up information about my ancestor, it may have been much more helpful for me the next time I go back to that area, instead of going to the Lockport town clerk, to go to the Royalton town clerk and see if I can find information relating to the property where they lived or some other document, such as a legal document. Let's say there's a will or a deed or something like that that might mention my ancestors. So it's really important to look at these old maps which have details not only of what the towns were, but where the borders lay. Because oftentimes you'll find out something like, oh yeah, my ancestor grew up near Orangeport. And you find out actually they didn't grow up in Orangeport. They grew up a mile to the west in Lockport, or whatever the other village might be over here, just over the border. But they may consider themselves from being from Orangeport because it's the closer town or it's where their church is or something like that. So many common situations like that. It's not guaranteed that maps will have the names of property owners from whatever area they're from, but I've seen it in many states in the United States. New York, for one. I've seen it in some southern states as well, some western states, and also in the UK for some older maps in Britain and Scotland. I've seen the names of property owners put right on the map. And that's a really valuable resource, not only because you can find out where they live, but you can find out exactly where they lived, and then use that information to zero in on certain types of records that you may have to actually go in person to pick them up. If this video helped, please take a moment to like it and follow me. If you go to easygenie.org, click on blog, I have lots more free advice and tips about researching your ancestry. This is Ian from Easy Genie. Thanks so much for watching.